Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts, guys. The newest episode of Arrow Season 4, Episode 7, entitled Brotherhood, just finished airing on TV, and I'm here to review / just talk about the episode. So if you have not seen the newest episode of Arrow, Brotherhood, click away now. I'm getting into spoilers, okay? Are you gone? I'm getting into spoilers. Okay, let's get into it. So first things first, I want to get to the actual fight scenes we've gotten in this episode. There was a lot of fighting in this episode between Oliver, Thea, Laurel, Diggle, all of them fighting these mountainous amount of ghosts, and it was really awesome to see the team work together and to seeing at one point Oliver and Diggle actually go off by themselves and kind of fight a bunch of ghosts, while Laurel and Thea was off doing something else. So it was really cool to see the kind of brotherly, team up from Diggle and Oliver from the first season, to see them reunite in kind of a solo mission as brothers and all this kind of stuff, and just to see the fight scenes. They were just incredible. And I found out tonight that this episode was directed by their stunt choreographer, or their stunt man, essentially, who basically I guess goes through at least Oliver's stunts. I'm not really sure if he goes through everybody else's stunts in the show, but basically he directed this episode, and it was heavily featured on the fighting, and it was great camera work focusing on the fighting style. So it was really cool to see that there was a lot of fighting to kind of make up for the fact there's not a lot of fighting in this episode. And also at the end we got a little bit of Adam showing up and actually getting into the fight as well, along with Oliver. So they kind of did this whole thing where they're both standing on opposite sides of this open area taking out ghosts. It was kind of cool to see Adam and Oliver teaming up and all that kind of stuff. So that was very cool to see that. Next up, Diggle's brother. This was something they kind of gave away in the actual trailer leading up to this week's episode. They gave it away saying he's alive. I'm like, I really wish they didn't give that away, but that's the focal point of the episode. That's the main story arc of the episode, so I understand why they gave it away, but I really wish they didn't. But I really enjoyed this because when they first reveal that he's alive to the character Diggle, he was the first person to see him alive, he just ran away, and you're like, okay, that's your brother, and he's gone. And then they came up with a really cool point to kind of basically answer the question, why did he run away? And it was because Hive has these yellow pills or something like that. They're pills that alters your DNA, and basically you will just respond to commands. And Damien Darhk gave a command to a bunch of people who took these Hive pills. It says kneel, and they all started getting on their knees, kneeling before Damien Darhk. So that was a cool way to kind of explain that. The Diggle Andy situation with his brother is very, very interesting. Diggle, at first was crying and all this stuff, and he was really beat down by the fact that for 8 years he thought his brother was dead. And so it was cool to see that, going from the shock to the depression, crying. He doesn't know how to process it, handle it. Then it gets to the point where Oliver's wanting to help get Diggle's brother, and Diggle's like, I don't want his help. Like, I don't want your help, Oliver. I don't want to save him, essentially. I don't want to save my brother. Because the files he's received from Lance, and who got from Damien Darhk, says that Diggle's brother, Andy, was a very bad guy. So he doesn't want to save his brother. They end up saving him, and at the end, Diggle finally straight up asked Andy while he's locked up in a cage, kind of like when Nyssa was locked up in Season 3, I believe. It might have been Season 3, it might have been Season 2, I think it was Season 3. Asked Andy straight up, hey, is this true? Hands the file, and he's like, yep, all of it. Throws the file back. And then he just sits down. I'm like, well, I don't know if he's still under a little bit of control or if he's just pissed. I don't know. So I guess we'll get back to that story point down the road. But for right now, Diggle's brother's just pretty pissed. So there you have that. Next thing is a really cool scene I really enjoyed, and they kind of added a little more to it at the end of the episode, was the Damien Darhk and Oliver Queen essentially scene. It's not really a meeting, it's per se, he just shows up at Oliver's speaking for the police of Star City, and Damien Darhk pulls him aside, and they have a little discussion. Now, everyone was talking about, does Damien Darhk know if Oliver Queen is the Green Arrow? And the way it was set up, at least in this particular scene, at the night whole thing, celebrating and honoring the police at Star City, I would say no. Because the way it was going across, Damien Darhk's talking to him, not like, I know your secret, more of like, I want to endorse you. I think we could work together and build this city and make it better. And then it gets a little confrontational where Oliver's not accepting Damien Darhk's offer. So Damien Darhk got a little bit, pissed and didn't like the answer. So at that point, Damien Darhk's not really happy about Oliver Queen. Then they finish off where Oliver Queen goes to the the actual bay, the actual docks, where Damien Darhk does a lot of his, secret stuff and all this kind of stuff. So he used the docks for the hive situation, and then Oliver's like, no, we need to bring this place back to what it was. We need to bring all this stuff back. We need to save the docks. And Damien Darhk's there listening to the speech, and then Oliver's looking right at him saying, we need to fight this problem in the day, not in the dark, essentially. And I think at that point, it makes me go, does Damien Darhk know now that he's the Green Arrow? They didn't go any further with that, just by them having a stare down. So I think that they're going to go the angle of Oliver Queen, the mayoral candidate, not the Green Arrow, but Oliver Queen is going to have an issue with Damien Darhk, and Green Arrow as well is going to have an issue with Damien Darhk. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see that kind of angle, because that's how they set it up. Now, I'm assuming at some point very soon, Damien Darhk's going to put the pieces together and realize they're the same person, but we'll see what it is. One quick thing I do want to add before I finish this video. Interestingly enough, they teased this a little bit, that Damien Darhk's powers do not work on Thea. And I think the reason why is because it's the Lazarus Pit. And she actually brought this up to Malcolm Merlin, who did show up in this episode. It was a nice way. They didn't give that away or anything like that. He shows up for a very brief moment, but it was cool to see that. And she realized herself that when Damien Darhk tried to do his little touch thing and suck your soul out, essentially suck your energy. I'm not really sure. They haven't really explained what the touch is from Damien Darhk, making you go, and then you die. That it took her bloodlust away. And then Damien Darhk had a reaction where his face started like going, kind of like what people do when he touches. Like when he touched that guy in the first episode, and you see her skin gets black and everything, and you see these veins. That's what happened to Damien Darhk when he tried to touch Thea, and he let go, and then you see his hand and then his face. It shows his powers do not work on people who got basically risen from the Lazarus Pit. That's what they're implying, so that's pretty awesome. So what do you guys think of this episode, Brotherhood? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching my review. Of course, I cannot wait for the upcoming crossover coming, and not next weekend, but the weekend after that. Not the week after Thanksgiving and all that kind of stuff. I cannot wait. This is a pretty good episode, and I can't wait to see what the crossover does and how they could progress the Andy story and the Damien Darhk Oliver Queen story, because now they've gotten to show that, hey, they're both out in the light and they're both going to have issues. So thank you guys for watching my review. Peace out.